Wherever you are, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning into this summit and for all of the beautiful speakers. And I just am so grateful for everyone. It's been such a beautiful experience, and I'm really excited for today to see what we end up dream weaving together. And so, in today's session, we're going to be going through the archetypes of the priestess through the 12 signs. And we would invite you, as we're talking about them, to just feel into where you might have these archetypes within you, because we all have all of the archetypes within us. And some of them are going to be presenting in different ways at different times. And this is really like everything with astrology, where we can only ever be just scratching the surface. So I'm going to be leading us with Earth. And the Earth priestesses, the Earth elements, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These are about our rituals. So thank you for showing up today. This is part of ritual. Making space, making a commitment, choosing to show up for something. All of that is Earth. And I think all of us can give ourselves a really solid pat on the back because we all chose to come to Earth at this time. We all chose to show up. So whether you're showing up live right now or you're catching this on the replay, just congratulate yourself for showing up. And I think that's always an important takeaway whenever we're talking about rituals or ways of being that are really honoring life, honoring ourselves, that there's not this one size fits all. And it's really about your intention. It's really about how you are showing up in your heart. If we're just doing like busy work just to say, hey, let me just do this task list of things and there we go, I'm done. And where was our heart in that, right? We really want to be present. And that's what the earth invites us into our bodies, into what's actually needed in the here and now. And so if we tune into all of the earth signs as temple keepers, because they all help us to either feed our body, feed our temple, take care of our body, or take care of the earth, or take care of other beings, or they maybe help us to improve and really see how we can make the best of what we have in terms of resources. The key difference with all of the earth signs is going to be their modality. And I find it really helpful to think about where the earth signs actually fall in the wheel of the year. And for that reason, I'm going to start with Capricorn. Capricorn is a cardinal sign, which is about initiation. It's getting things started. And the Capricorn priestess is really bringing in that solid pillar of legacy, of honor, of reverence, of really holding down this blueprint of what we would ideally want to see. And so we tune into things like the Capricorn solstice as a marking point of perhaps the seeds that we would like to plant for the year ahead, and a time of gratitude for the seven generations behind. And then we feel into, okay, what is the legacy that I'm leaving for the seven generations ahead of me? And there's a big emphasis, a big celebration, a big marking point that comes with the Capricorn solstice that we might do a little extra. We're thinking about our whole year. A lot of people are doing their resolutions. I know that's what I'm doing. And so the Capricorn archetype for the priestess is really going to be those big markers, really getting something started, but it might not be what you're doing every day. You can't necessarily have this long, drawn out, huge ceremony every single day. That's a little bit more, in the realm of Taurus. With Taurus, we want to feel into what are the rituals that we could do every day? How do we maintain? How do we reflect on the core, what we've initiated, the seeds that we have planted, and then how do we make it work? We cannot sustain what is not us. So we have to make it sustainable. What can we do every day? This is like feeding ourselves. This is like making sure that we're eating healthy foods. The Taurus priestess is really holding down that gardener, caretaker archetype, really making sure that right here, number one, this body has what she or he need. And that way we can have the energy, we have all the resources from within to create whatever it is we are here to create. But there's that constant, continuous, sort of repetitive element with Taurus. It's like, what can you do every day? You're certainly not hosting a Capricorn solstice party every day, right? So even just that like way of thinking about it can kind of help you maybe parcel out some of the differences in terms of time and maybe what part of you is active at different times. If we tune into Virgo, this is one of the most common archetypes that we associate with the priestess. And Virgo is known as the virgin, the temple keeper, and she really carries a strong resonance, very similar to Vesta and the Vestal virgins. And there's a very inward energy as well as outward because this is mutable earth. We're looking within to see, okay, how's that thought process doing? Are those thoughts serving me? Are those beliefs serving me? Is that mindset really helping anything? Where can I clean up from the inside out? And then also looking around, Virgo's kind of looking at, okay, well, what is the Capricorn and the Taurus priestess doing? How can we improve this system? How can we make it work for everyone? And the Virgo priestess is not really out for personal gain. It's a lot more about support and making sure that everybody has what they need. There's often a very distributive energy with the mutable priestess archetypes. And it's not going to be the same. It's kind of like being a floater, actually. If you've ever had a job where you've been kind of that like extra person, you're not really sure what task they're going to do, but they are actually so good at all the tasks that they are the ideal person to have on your team because they can fill any role. That's really how I view the mutable signs. And so, especially Virgo with the attention to detail, the priestess who's able to support and lift up all of the other priestesses and really see how can we make this better for everyone? And how can we release any of the doubt, perhaps around enoughness? How can we release any of the lack that we might feel? So that's the redistribution aspect as well. And again, it won't be the same every day with Virgo. It's really about how do you meet the moment? How do you observe what's actually happening? Whereas Taurus, that's a little bit harder for the Taurus priestess. The Taurus priestess is like, I already know what I'm doing. You don't really need to tell me. I already know that I need to eat. But Virgo might come in and say, but have you tried a different color fruit today? Because you've been eating only oranges, right? And maybe you need some different nutrients. And here's an apple, here's a pomegranate, like let's resource outwardly from the typical routine and the typical patterns that we have. And then I think also this reminder of, well, what was seeded in the Capricorn priestesses era? What's the legacy? What is it all for? What's the bigger picture here? What's the point? And when you tune into all three of them together, I think it really, especially in your own chart, you can see the different areas of your life where you might be operating as a different expression of the priestess or the priest, God, goddess, devotee of your life. So I'm sure that all of my co-hosts probably have something to say about all of the Earth priestesses.
I have something quick. I just will say, like Capricorn, wise leader, she's often the one who's heading up the ceremony, making sure everything's in place, doing that. And then the Taurus would be the one that's like, how are we creating pleasure? How are we moving out of the pain paradigm into the pleasure paradigm? How do we create that in a ceremonial way? And the Virgo priestess is she's the one, and in many ways of looking at the archetypal energies, this is the one that was attuned to the sky mystery. She was attuned to the patterning of life and when to do the sacred ceremonies. When there was a new moon, when there was a full moon, when there was planetary alignments that were worth tuning into. And so having that connection to the sacred pattern of life.
I love the wisdom that's coming through both of you. And I always love to, as a Virgo self note and such a strong Virgo signature, that a lot of our modern day Virgo tendencies, which we might actually have a self-judgment around as being neurotic or overly critical, that when I think about it, it's so helpful for me to go back to the original essence of the Virgo priestess, which is about living life ceremonially, living life as it's a sacred ceremony, being connected to the sacredness of life and of all of life, and remembering that in our modern day, like mainstream society, we have lost such a sense of sacredness that it can feel, where do we have a place for that? With those of us that have strong Virgo signatures, and we start finding all these little ways to bring in ceremony and ritual into our lives, and other people might perceive it as neurotic or things needing to be just so. But I always remember for myself, when I feel like I'm having a self-judgment or someone else is judging me, that it's this deep remembrance of ceremony and how to, through being that bridge between the seen and unseen world, how to find little moments of ceremony out throughout the day. And those little things of things needing to be just so are my inner priestess, like wanting to keep the temple tidy, wanting to have all my elements of like my life ceremony just so. So I always just like to have that remembrance for myself.
For me, one word that is very strong at the moment for the priestess, earth priestesses, is dedication, is the dedication to the memory of the past. In the case of Capricorn, and knowing what it works in reality and how to hold a space for big structures and how to create things that really help in a big way. Then for Virgo is the dedication to the details, to how like the sacred patterns that you were all mentioning, and how it is not the same to put this here than there. So like feng shui, things like that is such a Virgo energy because they just see the energy in the daily life. And for Taurus is the dedication to our bodies and our pleasure, as it was mentioned as well, how that is a temple as well. And we forgot that. So the idea of work and pleasure as something that is opposites. And for me, my own unfolding, understanding with my moon in Capricorn, that is not about not working, it's about the pleasure of doing what you're meant to do and doing it as big as you are meant to do it is the way to honor that part of myself. So I think now we can move to the water priestesses.
Ah, okay. So the priestesses of the water element, you are the priestesses who have one foot in both worlds at all times, the physical world, and then one foot in the watery liminal spaces. You are the bridge between the seen and the unseen, not only the waters of our earth and our inner emotional waters, but also the multidimensional waters of our galaxy and our cosmos and beyond. So you are the priestesses that really hold the medicine of the mermaids and the whales and the dolphins, perhaps working with the ocean goddess and the water elementals. You are the priestesses that are singing your songs and prayers into the water, changing the structure of the water and working with the network of seen and unseen beings like the mermaids and the whales and the dolphins that are sending those prayers through all the waterways of the world to wherever they need to go and to travel for the alchemy that you are the priestesses that are the alchemist of your emotional realms, your emotional waters, and your unconscious, surrendering deeply and fully into what you are feeling, and through letting those emotional waters move through you, that your body is that alchemical cauldron to transformation. You are the priestesses, that your medicine is your ability to emotionally attune deeply with someone, to be able to walk into someone else's emotional, unconscious waters with them, hold space for them, and then help bring them back to surface. That you are the ones that through being with someone, your own and someone else's emotional experience fully, that is that avenue to the transformation. And the water element priestesses, your medicine can often be song or dance or some type of art form that is moving, letting yourself let go and let flow, moving into that flow state and letting that higher realm of consciousness just work through you, letting yourself let go and let flow. And so for Cancer, you are the birth priestesses. So you may carry some of that medicine of Mother Mary, her mother Anna, and those of so many other traditions that hold the mysteries of miraculous conception and miraculous birthing. And this is not just birthing of a physical being, this is also birthing of your creative visions and your higher visions. This is birthing of all types. The Cancer priestesses, you are also the ones, your priestess medicine can be your ability to nurture and comfort and nourish others, especially our most young and innocent and vulnerable beings, but all beings. Your medicine can be preparing a soul nourishing meal for someone to warm their heart. I have the image of the Cancer priestesses um, preparing this beautiful sacred meal, sitting at a big table with all of their loved ones or the community to come and nourishing and offering your priestess medicine that way. Our Scorpio water priestesses, you are the ones that create deep transformation through like an intense emotional connection with someone, through that intense connection and that intense intimacy. That is the vehicle of alchemy and transformation. Our Scorpio priestesses, your medicine is your ability to feel fully and deeply the full range of aliveness, the full range of emotions, not running away from any emotion, but instead diving in and feeling. You are, in many senses, the witches, the shamanesses, the seers, the priestesses of prophecy and many senses. And you also hold the prophecy and the medicine of seeing and saying what others may not want to hear or be ready to hear or receive. And you can often see into other people's unconscious. And for those that are willing to dive into that with you and go into the depths, go into that intensity, like you have this amazing medicine, unlike any other. You also can carry the medicine, your priestess medicine can be the tantric arts and sacred sexuality. And it may just be in as well, like it can be the avenue through your most intimate relationships and partnerships, how that alchemy and transformation occurs. And then our Pisces priestesses, you are the dream priestesses, like the dream oracles. At Delphi or the dream priestesses in the Asclepian temples, dreaming and bringing the medicine through for others. Your often priestess medicine can be the healing arts of many different types, whether it's energy healing or um, divination. I mean, this can be true for all of the water element priestesses as among the other elements as well with the Pisces priestesses and all the water element priestesses. You are so empathic. Your empathy and your energetic sensitivity can feel like a curse, but really it's your greatest medicine when you can embrace it and surrender to it, and then learn some of those earth element boundaries to help support you and your energetic sensitivity with our Pisces priestesses as well. Your ability to imagine and dream and be in the liminal space, be in those imaginative and dream realms are how you're carrying your sacred medicine through. And so with the earth element priestesses, there's often this precision and planning and sometimes methodicalness and the way you're doing your kind of priestess ceremony and rituals. But the water element priestesses is often just letting go and letting flow, not planning it out. I'm standing under the night sky and all of a sudden a song is coming to me, a dance is coming to me, and that is my ceremony in the moment, just feeling spontaneously and intuitively led in the moment. So I will open it up to others who want to share about the water element.
I'll just quickly say a couple words about each one. With Pisces, we could say, I love what you were saying about that. She's here to be a healer and to hold space for healing. Sometimes the only thing we really need to heal is for someone to be present with us in that moment, and then everything can change. So she's not here to do it for you. She's here to just hold the space so you can do it. Cancer is very similar, but it's also about creating safe space for everyone to be who they truly are. And the Scorpio, I love to say she is the sorceress because she is connected to source and she is bringing through her magic, through her passion and intensity and ability to be connected into source energy.
All of this is so beautiful. And I will just say for all of the water priestesses, I've strong water as well and felt a little called out with the Scorpio. I was like, that is my number one thing. I will absolutely tell you what you don't want to hear, but you will thank me for it later. But also to leave it on a higher note. Dive deep for your treasure. There is so much in those hidden, dark, crevicey, scary looking places. I think those are the places where perhaps your ancestors or even your own higher self left a treasure for you.
And for the three of them, I feel very strong the word chaos and dissolution. And it's something that we are going to be all initiated in this year, like the priestesses of waters are going to dissolve anything that it is not serving us and something that we need as a system. And it's something that is very uncomfortable many times because we are trying to grab something that is already gone. And the priestesses of water are really helping us to go back to the womb of creation and to go back to the roots. And it's a place where it's the void. It's like nothing seems to be happening. So the human gets very scared and uncomfortable in the waters of creation because in order to be reborn, we need to die. And the waters are that magic of renewal. So, and we are going to all be there and also initiated by fire that Kajelin will be sharing now. So, that mystery of chaos and how can we bring a little bit more chaos into our lives and not to have everything so structured and planned, and because then there is no space for spontaneity, there is no place for dancing when I feel like it, there is no space for listening to our feelings if we are not creating space for that. So for the water, in order to be listened, we need to take time. Is not one of the elements that are very strongly in our faces. It's like if we are not creating the space for listening to our feelings, normally we don't even know, and then something happens. So it's something that how can we open ourselves to chaos, to the mystery, and to the womb of creation? It's something that is really honored by the priestesses of this element.
And I just wanted to say, because you brought in such a good point, Mar, that the water not being in your face, you have to make space. And it just brings it right back to the earth vessel. And it's worth noting that the earth element and the water element really support each other. that way, similar to how air and fire, both yang, really support each other that way. So if you're ever feeling like you're too far on one side of the spectrum, it's leaning into usually that opposite to see, okay, how do I create space or create the container?
So now we're going to look at fire, and this is going to be quick because fire is quick. It moves fast. It's all about action. It's about inspired, decisive action. It's about exploring, going to the next thing. I will say, as a person with a grand fire trine, a lot of personal planets in fire, my husband, who is Earth, when we first got together, I would say things and be like, "This, here's an idea. Let's go do this." And he'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 slow down." So that's definitely part of the fire realm. It likes to move fast, and it can get bored if things aren't moving fast enough. So the fire priestesses, Aries, she is fiercely committed to defending the sacred order of life. She is creating safe space for ceremony and the birthing of ideas, the birthing of projects, the birthing of children. The ancient midwives of former times were not helping women birth a child. They were protecting the woman giving birth. She knew what to do. She could do it herself. We've forgotten that, but she could do that. But they were not safe. They were very vulnerable at the time of giving birth. So this was the Aries priestess. She's the one that was creating the safe space for that to happen. And she's also very committed to a cause, a noble cause, a worthy mission, something that she can engage and take that inspired, decisive action that will help further that sacred cause. And then the Leo priestess, she is the queen. She is dedicated to honoring and celebrating the sacred within and all around. She is mastering the art of healthy self-love, self-approval, self-confidence, self-acceptance, and she is shining her light as a sovereign, sacred, divine being, uplifting all those around her to do the same if they so choose. And the Sagittarius priestess is dedicated to furthering the divine truth infused through all life. Her quest is to expand her consciousness, to embrace the ever evolving truth of this reality, and to serve great mystery by experiencing personally her own enlightenment because she knows enlightened people create an enlightened world in the same way green trees create a green forest. So if she can get enlightened, then she becomes able to inspire others to do the same. So passing it now to see what else you have to say.
I always see the fire element priestesses as carrying that divine spark of inspiration. And like you said, Kaylin, that ability to pivot too. It's like, where's the energy? Where is the light? Where is the vibe? That's what we want. That's what we're going towards with the fire and really feeling alive. So what is it that makes you want to wake up? What is it that makes you want to move? What is it that makes you want to take action and to really create something or to really play, to really experience life? And especially if you ever struggle with accessing your fire, there's something about allowing it to almost consume you and burn away anything that's in the way of that. And there's a very delicate dance with fire because since it's so powerful, it's called for at very specific times. But we also do want to keep it contained. And so this is where the earth can come in too with the vessel and hold the fire. Or we're aware of what happens when fire mixes with water, or what is the air, the ideas that infuse the fire and make it grow. So it's like we are always constantly tending to our fire, especially as the priestess. If you think of the Vestal Virgins again, or really in any temple, there's always the element of keeping that hearth fire alive. So what is needed to do that?
So beautiful. And with the fire element priestesses like Kaylin and Nura you spoke to, it's really the flow of life force energy moving through you and how to have that uninterrupted flow of life force energy moving through you. Your sacred medicine comes through when you can let that life force energy just free flow moving through you, when you're lit up, when you're inspired, and that's what really brings your medicine through.
I love that seeing the fire priestesses of life for priestesses, and I feel very connected to that. And this is in a personal note. For instance, for me as a priestess myself, I always felt that the way I see it ritually, it wasn't 100% how I feel it inside, because most of my elemental energy is fire and air. So is how to do it my way is being very strong, and I do have a lot of Aries in that sense. So it's being like this contradiction between what I see how other people do rituals, the longing from the soul to do ritual, but also the inner fight to do it my way. And I'm part of the Aries priestess in this case, but all of the fire, Leo as well, needs to do it her way. And Sagittarius as well is like they break free from traditions because they are starting something new. Is that spark of energy of saying, is this tradition alive, or we are just repeating something because of repetition and because of like we are just used to repeat this, but is this making sense? Do I feel alive when I go to a church and I see it in a specific way, or should we move things around? Is this energy of moving the temple, like moving, dancing, the passion, is this alive? And sometimes that means to go against the current in a way. And there are energies of transformation. The fire transforms and burns and really also renews life. So it's very important for the fire priestesses and for the ones who are called towards this element, and the ones that they have it more emphasized in the chart, to listen to their life force, to really believe in that gut instinct that is saying, this is my way to do ceremony, and that's okay. And sometimes you don't even know what you're going to do until you do it. And this is part, for instance, in my journey. It's like I always improvise everything I share because it's part of my own signature. And how do we relate with others that they need to be more contained and more structured? And I think with that, there is the magic of the air priestesses, that they are the ones who are communicating. They are the ones that they bring the power of words and the power of community in the sense of like networking, and the ones who speak their truth and the truth of the universe, and to be a vessel, because at the end of the day, a priestess is a vessel for the energies. It's like you are just an open channel of what it wants to be shared through you. In the case of the air priestesses, is the words, the writers, the magicians, the ones who know that words have power. The inner words that we say to ourselves in our everyday life, and the narratives that we have in the collective, and as well every single conversation that we share with others. And how are we creating words that are empowering us and really bringing life to life, and how can we share more and more our own truth in every conversation that we have, and allow our ego to go a little bit aside. It's like this fear of, when I share my truth, I'm going to be judged. When I share my truth, I'm going to be exiled or killed or burned. And is this knowing that, and I see it so much, like we have so much locked here, that is just the time to open our throat and to say our truth and to really share the words of wisdom that they're coming from a space that are deeper than us, and to share it with the world. and to do it in a way that is also empowering others, because this is what air does. It's like we inspire with our words the words of another person who didn't even know that they were feeling and thinking and knowing. That is this inner knowing of our truth. So in the case of Gemini, is the magician is the one who is collecting the wisdom from different sources, like a hummingbird, and is knowing the nectar from that flower and that other flower, and is bringing together other people, and is the one who knows that we need more magic than only one source. So it's taking the magic from like different sources and collecting it and putting it together and sharing it with the world and writing and knowing the power of words. In the case of Libra, is knowing that in our relationships we are um, we are really rowing through the others. Is the priestess is in the city. It's like is out of the temple and is sharing with the partner, is sharing with the others, and is seeing the others as mirrors of their own truth. So the Libra priestess knows that the other person is always a mirror. And we're going to do a practice of mirroring each other with the dreams. So it's a very Libra practice in this sense. It's like the other person, when I'm sharing this, everyone is having an experience of what I'm saying. And that is that Libra mystery, that we grow so much from the truth of others when we allow them to see mirrors and to be mirrors of our own truth. And in the Aquarius mysteries, they bring the higher consciousness and the cosmos and the future into the present. So allowing this priestess is very important to understand that they are bringing something into earth that is different and revolutionary and maybe not accepted at the first time. So is trusting yourself so much that you keep sharing that revolutionary ideas, because ideas is also a very important part of the priestesses of air. And if you're called to write books, your book is your creation as a priestess, or like a summit in this case. This is an offering from the priestesses. Is like the priestess is not only the rituals that you do in the morning, is anything that you do that it feels sacred for you. So writing a book, sharing a song, having an amazing conversation with your partner, and really holding a space for anything that is happening for a loved one is part of the air priestesses.
I love that you kind of ended on the Aquarian note, because it is such a good reminder that a priestess is not about how we're dressed, how we're looking on the external. If you look at social media, oftentimes that's the image we get of the priestess. Just what is she wearing? What dress? What robes? How does her temple space that she has behind camera look like? And perhaps we dress, perhaps if that's authentic to us, we might dress that way and we might create our space in that way. And if that's authentic to us, and that outward expression of our inner priestess, that's beautiful and that's wonderful. But we're not limited to that as being as what a priestess is. It's more our way of being and the world. And how are we being that sacred bridge between the as above, so below, as within, so without? And the Aquarian priestess is a reminder that how you show up in your life as a priestess may look so wildly and radically different than the image that we often get as the priestess. And it may actually, in the like priestess community, quote unquote, it may not actually even be like accepted. And that's okay. Like, stay who you are, like let your beautifully wonderful, weird, wild self. Stay exactly as you are and staying true to yourself because that is your priestess medicine. And with the air element priestess, it really is our word is our wand, and our perception is our wand as well. The air element priestesses have this beautiful gift of seeing and perceiving into the infinite possibility that's in every single moment, and often an ability to perceive a new possibility is all we need to shift the trajectory of reality, particularly the Gemini priestesses. This is like part of your medicine. And your medicine can be also the medicine of sound healing, of using your voice as a sound healing instrument, but also singing bowls or gongs or whatever it is, among many, many other priestess gifts. But I've often seen that among those of a strong air element as part of your priestess medicine.
So I'm just going to say something quick. A lot of fire here. Uh, so I love what you were saying, Jamie, about the Aquarius, because they are the change makers. They are the ones that are marching to their own drum beat. They are doing things in a new and different way, in ways that maybe nobody else has ever thought of before. So Aquarius, so good. And then Gemini is also the one that's reminding us to not take ourselves so seriously, to be playful, and to have fun. To have fun in our sacred ceremonies, not to just be so serious all the time. It's not a serious thing. And the more fun that we can have, the more, and tell the new stories. We're also here to tell the new stories. So Gemini is very good at that. And then the Libra, it's how are we all equal? How are we all sitting around the table as equals? I have something to bring, Nura has something to bring, Jamie has something to bring, Mar has something to bring. It's not the same, but it's equally important. And so that co-creation, collaboration, and cooperation is very much part of the Libra expression as well.
And I feel it's very connected also to Aquarius in terms of breaking from the traditions of how we've been showing up and sharing ideas and hierarchies of knowledge and experience. And with that, there are 85 people here with us live. And if you have something to say, to share in the chat around what has really been resonating with you, and perhaps a question of, what is the archetype of the priestess that you most resonate with and why? Or what another way to ask that question, this is the element of air. What is the archetype of the priestess that's awakening in you right now? Because there might be one that you've been working with for a long time, but we are always changing, and air brings the winds of change. So we are not going to be the same, stagnant throughout our whole life. And when we feel that chickadee on the porch, like Eileen brought in, and her blackbird singing louder with the air, it's like that also reminds me of air. It's affirmation. It's like we hear it echoed back. We put it out into the world, and then we hear it echoed back. And maybe it's in the same language, and maybe it's something different. But that is really the beautiful reminder that we're not here doing all of this alone. We're all here together. And I know that Mar is going to bring us also into dream weaving and really this collection of what you've all shared from your experience throughout the summit. But if you have anything more to share in this moment, or if it comes to you later, we're here and we would love to hear from you. And just, drop it in the cauldron.
Yeah. And the invitation will continue with the dreams. So, and this is so Aquarius that it was very strong, guided, like we need to share something from the collective. And this is something that I will also encourage everyone to bring in more and more into the circles, because as I will share the dream with everyone is a message of really co-creation. So is the future basically in a way. And this summit was created and shared. It was created before, but it was shared with the new moon in Aquarius. So I will encourage everyone to close their eyes and to really feel what is awoken within you with my words. So is an activation in a way. So don't think so much about the symbols and what it means, but what is it that is moving in you. Like if you feel anything in your body, you just recollect that. Because then at the end, I would love everyone to share what is it that it was awoken within them, what is it that moved you, and also to the three beautiful astro priestesses to share also what is it that they see or feel. So it's like open yourself to the five senses, basically. So it doesn't have to be just seeing, it can be also sensing in any sense. So I invite everyone to close your eyes. Breathe deeply into your heart, the heart of the earth, the heart of the cosmos. And every time you breathe, you feel how you are connected with earth and sky. Taking your time to go in and to feel the dream of the collective. You breathe again, earth and sky. And imagine yourself going into your own dream temple. Maybe it's a cave. Maybe it's a forest. And surround yourself with the guides and protection, your ancestors, with the elements. And just pay attention to how you feel as I share our dream. A female cat goes to sleep protecting my head. She never does that. She's protecting my dreams. All of us standing in circle across the earth, holding hands with one another. All the sisters, dreaming, wishing, weaving, glowing light. Purple color pouring from the third eye. Lovers from the past, first love, wedding cakes. I am in a large parking lot on campus. I have a parking privilege, and I want my friend to enjoy it too. I am in a room with a set of stairs. The wall against the staircase is covered in curtains. They are closed. I am in my kitchen. I hear a dog barking outside. I look out and I see about 8 dogs. Lots of dogs. I am on my back, being dragged by my feet to the edge of an incredible high cliff, overlooking a river. I am screaming. A lot of different species have gathered at the river. I feel tension. A catastrophic event. I am with a vampire driving. I do not know where my children are. I feel quite vulnerable, out of control. I am floating in space. All is good. I am giving instructions to deal with clay, part blue and part gray, translucent. I use a chopstick to work the whole clay out of form. I show it to the woman. She's pleased. The goddess is coming. She never left. Apartment buildings connected like honeycombs, hexagonal connecting cells. Inside each is a woman sitting, an older woman with a dog. I see a hawk fly right in front of the window, and I wished with all my might that it would stay. A barrel owl on my mailbox with a message for all of us. Allow the connection. Allow the freedom of receiving to let go, to let go, to let go. Go back home. Follow the pattern line by line, changes as they come up, even in serious settings. It is time for celebration. A creative arts building full of women, a big party, a yoga fest, a creative hum infused with pure love, pure consciousness, pure protection. A pebbled pathway inside a figure eight. Great things are coming. Trust and surrender. Allow that it happens. The future is art and is already here. Hope. And in your own time, you can open your eyes and share with us what is it that you saw, hear, feel. And for the other three astro priestesses, I would love to hear the words.
I'll just share. This is actually from a dream I had 25 years ago, but I did think about it all the time. I was enlivened and activated by it, and in my priestess community, we did ceremony around it way back then. Uh, and that I was having a ceremonial dream. I don't remember the details of it, but when I woke up, I was hearing, "Love heals everything, and love is the answer to everything." And I feel like that's so true. Even more so now, probably than then, but definitely was then and definitely is true now.
Yes, I really felt all of those words and really, I'm not very surprised that the symbolism in all of our dreams would carry something that would, I guess, kind of coat or permeate this space. I really feel like it makes so much sense that so many of those words and so many of those visuals, the owl and the creativity and the sense of hope and the sense of a lot of people, but then a little bit of trepidation or fear around that, but like almost like a feeling of being at a precipice, like about to go over into something new. I was what I really felt through all of that, and very supported and safe to do that.
I had this visualization the whole time while you were guiding us through that, Mar, of we're all collectively holding hands in a circle, and there's the this heart at the middle of the circle, which represents the heart of humanity, the heart of Gaia. It is all of our collective heart. And there was this kind of like dark, like muck that was around the heart. But as we were all standing in the circle, connecting to our own hearts, doing our own personal work, that it's like the light of the heart started to shine brighter and brighter. The like inner light of the heart, that the inner fire of the heart that can never be dimmed, that can never actually be put out. But it started to grow stronger and stronger, and the muck started to just melt off as the light of the heart started to shine brighter and brighter and out into the circle and out into the world. And I feel that that is representing all of us joining together here in the summit, and whatever way that we've each been able to be present to the summit, that we are supporting the collective heart to heal and shine brighter and more fully, and reclaiming the light of our own heart, but also the collective heart of humanity and Gaia.
I just want to read out some of what people have shared in the comments because they're really beautiful. Jackie cried through most of this from pain and joy and hope, and her head has not stopped tingling. Um, Mary's felt enriched with love and faith and enjoying the wild ride. Homeostasis coming through. Um, Again, lots of body tingling, and I think it's very visceral. Carolyn had a dream of a large snake. Welcome to Year of the Woods Snake. I think we're all going to be very transformed after this year for sure. We're going to walk out very differently than we walked in. Maybe we're going to slither out. I don't know. Cindy brought in that she felt fear and then felt calm, especially floating in space. I think that's really important to acknowledge because when we're in this kind of time, the expectation is not that we never feel fear. And that was a big part of our um, initiation in forming the summit was bravery and courage. We feel the fear, and it's not just as simple as feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm sure you've heard that statement, but I think it's really listening to it, and understanding it, honoring it, acknowledging it. There's history, there's present, and there's future. So all of it, and feeling the strength within that and the hope, which I think is the ending note that we close in, the fear followed by encouragement to keep going. The importance of remembering to trust that everyone is safe, otherwise her life force is drained. We can drain a lot of energy on fear and lack of trust. And it's a practice, not something to shame ourselves about, because we have very good reasons why we do those things. Um, and I think I won't be able to read them all, they're so good. But that element of just being really true to yourself and trusting that what wants to come through you right now is exactly what's needed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mar. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, thank you for, like, this is one example of bringing something that is a gift in a way, like following the guidance of this is what wants to be shared, and putting it together has been so magical for me. So thank you everyone for holding the space, also for like sharing. And then it's very interesting how the dogs were very present in from different people. So how can we call the animal, the instinct, that primal part of ourselves, to take more bigger part of our lives, because it's being very suppressed, and is the one that is truly guiding us in the next steps in that cliff. It's like not to be dragged there, but to really know when is the time to jump and when is the time to change. And we are in big changes coming up, and human beings, like we say we want change, but then when it happens, it's like we really resist. So I feel that call of like being brave, as Nora was saying, is very important. Like we can handle this, and we can do it together. Like the connection was also very interesting, the support, the women, the feminine. There was a lot of feminine women, arts, creation. That's the way of moving forward. So there is hope at the end.
Yay. I
Yeah.
just I just want to quickly say that we're in deep gratitude to all the directions and all the energies that have been present, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to stick around, we would love that. But if you need to go, it's okay, as we are releasing the sacred ceremonial space, and but it can continue to live and go on through us as we move forward from this time.
And also an announcement that the summit is going to be available for the indefinite time, like you can have access to everything. We will send an email also opening ourselves to receive as well for supporting our work. So, like a sacred reciprocity, we started with a Libra equinox 2022. So, the Libra mystery is really part of our co creations together. And so, it's going to be available, but just knowing that we are really thankful as well if anyone can support us as well to do more of this work, to bring more summits, to grow the YouTube, to do all of this. Like the earth element is very important, so we are open to receive abundance. So the next email, you will have the replay and also a link for giving us a gift. And it's not a donation because it's not something that is needed, but it's something that is welcome.
Yes. One of my favorite ways to close a circle is I learned from my friend Mary. And it's just the acknowledgement that the circle is open but unbroken. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Many of you have expressed desire that there will be more. And so, yes, there will be more to come.
Yes. So thank you, everyone, and see you, everyone, soon. And thank you for all the comments and support in the summit.